Welcome to Diaspora Cooking. My name is Jackson Punganyi. Today on the show we have Vienna Bagaya, a young Kenyan mother living here in Washington DC area. Vienna is going to prepare for us food from Kenya. Vienna, thank you very much for hosting us today. What are you going to make for us today?
Welcome, Jackson.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I today will make Kenya's staple food, and that is Ugali with Sukuma Wiki.
Okay.
And I'm also gonna add in some meat, beef, which is eaten all day, every day. I grew up eating this food pretty much since I was born, so it would be a shame if I didn't know how to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Who taught you how to make the food? Your mom?
My mom. I grew up with an extended family, so a lot of women in my family love to cook. So
Wow.
I just learned by watching, and I hope I. We start by adding the meat and letting it simmer, right, with a little bit of water and some spices. And I also do with the carrots and the potatoes. So for now, because the carrots are the ones that are going to take the longest to cook, I'll put them in first, and a little bit of water, and I'm going to spice it up so I can tell you all the spices I'm going to use.
Okay. It looks like it's about time for a little testing.
It is, because I've been playing with the salt and, you know what it is. Let me even add a little bit of pepper for now before we taste it.
Okay.
And that's because you just want to make sure, this is...
So at this point, it's your discretion as a cook to decide how much crunchy you want it, and
this is so awesome. Yeah, how
looks
salty.
really good.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to.
The aroma just coming out of that is just...
I think it makes you feel like home, right?
Yes.
So now I'm going to have a little bit of taste for you. And you have to be careful because it's hot. I mean, I like you, so I'm warning you that it's hot. If I didn't, I'd just let you burn your lips. So just taste that little bit.
Okay. I'm going to use... My hands are clean.
Right.
It's really hot.
You taste it too soon.
Good.
Is it good?
Crunchy.
I'm gonna taste this one.
The right crunch. So you as a cook, you're going to test this to
just to make sure
figure out how much longer you can keep it on.
To validate your response,
stove.
because sometimes people say it's nice because they're being polite.
Right.
But for me,
But this is really good.
Ooh.
So go ahead and.
I killed it. I hate to blow my own horn. So good. This is done.
Is it wrong that I didn't have that response?
It's over. The thing about being secure as a cook is
you don't need to be validated by people who come in to shoot like 10-minute videos about you cooking. But you're very confident. You're confident in your game. Okay, and you have a system here that is
in life. I've always been that way, just confident all the time.
You have a system that you've honed over time that you don't need any outside validation, mostly from somebody who's not even from Kenya, right?
He's speaking the truth right now. It's
right.
true.
But I can tell you, and for all our viewers who are watching, that this is as good as it gets. You can't find any better Sukuma Wiki.
In all over DC, in the DMV area.
And there are a couple of Kenyan restaurants in the DMV area. The restaurant here at Vienna's house, Chef Vienna, Swahili Vienna village.
Yeah. So Swahili apartment.
Is dope. Is the best so far.
I'm telling you, it is dope.
Okay.
I cannot wait to tear this up. So now we're gonna move on. We're gonna check on the meat and see what it's doing.
Okay.
The meat is gonna be, we cooked it first because it's gonna take the longest and it's gonna be the last to cook. So we may be able to move to the ugali now.
Okay, so you're boiling the water for the ugali.
I'm waiting.
How do you measure the water for the ugali?
I wing it by who is around.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of men here. There's men behind the scenes just waiting to eat.
Men eat a lot of food, so all those guys are going to...
They're going to be devouring this.
Okay.
So I have to make it enough for about 5 people.
Okay.
And that's pretty much enough. Yeah.
That's good. That's a good amount of water.
It's about 5 cups of water. 4 to 5 cups of water will take care of it. I'm going to take my corn flour. I'm going to pour it in. And you have to have an eye for this. If you stop halfway before it's supposed to be good, it's going to start boiling, and some of them is going to boil up and come up and burn you. Who wants that?
So we've almost come to the end of our episode today of Diaspora Cooking, and we want to thank Vienna. Thank you very much. And as you can see, the beef, the stew is done. The Sukuma Wiki. Sukuma Wiki means what again?
It means push the week.
Push the
Sukuma
week.
means push.
Now eat it
Wiki is
slowly.
week. Yeah,
So
you
you
can
can-
savor it throughout the week, and it's a staple food that can be used for anybody in any socioeconomic status.
Okay, this is the ugali. The central, the main meal. Everything else is secondary to this. It's
Now that you're here, I'm gonna serve, because you're my guest, you're gonna go first.
Right.
So I'm gonna cut the ugali. The way we cut the
But
ugali.
there's a tradition to that too?
Well,
Do you
mean
cut
like-
the ugali? Do I cut the ugali?
I'm gonna cut the ugali because I'm gonna serve you.
Okay,
So
but traditionally if it's on the table,
The head of the family,
everybody, the head of the family?
The head of the
it's
family
like
can-
carving a turkey.
kinda, the head of the family can be the one cutting. But another thing is also, if you're the woman that cooked, you want to be the person that also serves.
Ah.
So you can ask people. I can start here, right? So typically it'll stay like that before anybody touches it. Anybody starts, eating. And I'll cut it in half for now. And then I'm gonna see how many people on the table, and then I'm gonna decide for you because you're special and nobody else is gonna eat. So you
I eat
guys.
the big pot.
Yep. You get.
This typically feeds like what? Like 4 people? 3 people?
This can feed even 5 or 6. You know,
Okay.
some people don't like to eat big pieces.
And this is heavy, kind of heavy. Like it sits in
Oh,
your
this is
stomach
like
for
a
while.
man's food. Like if
Okay.
you're tired from lumberjacking outside, you need this.
Or playing rugby, because Kenyan rugby, shout out to Kenyan rugby players.
How you eat ugali, the traditional way to eat is you don't grab a fork or spoon or
Use your hands.
You use your hands.
Right.
Take a pinch of ugali.
Okay.
And then you start.
And usually there are
Squeezing
people
it.
around the table, so
Eating
everybody's
together.
kind of digging in. Okay, so you're doing a little mound, little ball with
me
your
see you do
hands.
it. Let me see you
I
do
can
it.
do that.
Don't F it up.
Come on now.
Don't mess it up.
You said.
Now that you've done that into a little bowl, you use your thumb to scoop in there and get in there.
Get in there. Put a little footprint or fingerprint,
Yep.
a thumbprint.
And then
This one will be the
the scooper.
little ball.
The scooper.
The scooper.
Yeah, it's called the scooper. And you take the mboga, which is the Sukuma Wiki. For me, I like to mix it with the the nyama, which is
Right.
the beef. And I make it all
Put a
soggy and
little
good
fat
to go.
in there.
So, anyway. And then I just, cheers.
Cheers. Do people cheer at the table? Okay.
No.
Because at this point it's about business. Oh, I see you doing the Ugali dance. I know that one. This is really good. Before we go, I want to really touch on something that a project, to tell you a little bit about the project that Vienna's been working on. That is in relation to what we are doing, really, about the diaspora, showcasing some of the works of the diaspora, the wider African diaspora here in the United States of America, North America, and other parts of the world. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about Invisible Neighbors?
So the Invisible Neighbors, which is The Invisible Neighbors, is a website I created last year. And it just came out of inspiration from an interview I did with Voice of America. It was a segment on public health. I'm in public health. I'm an epidemiologist by trade. And it was an interview on sexual health and HIV stigma among African immigrants and refugees in the U.S. So what I wanted to do is, when I left there, I figured, well, there's a lot of information that could be catered to our community, which is the diaspora community, which means immigrants, first-generation Americans, pretty much anyone who's connected to their culture. So what the website
To the
does...
continent of Africa.
No, everywhere actually. Immigrants
Okay.
from all over the world.
Okay.
So what I do is I find immigrants, or people contact me, or first-generation Americans, and they have stories. When you look at immigrants, a lot of times in this country, they have one image, and a lot of times it pertains to the southern border. I wanted to change the narrative and to look at the stories of the immigrants that come to this country from all over, be it Europe, be it any continent in the world. And so what we do is collect Coming to America stories. So somebody will come in and say, my parents, I want to honor my parents by telling their story, or my grandparents who came to this country. And the purpose of the website is to showcase, like he was saying, the talents, the contributions, the amazing stories of immigrants, what they left behind. immigrants come to this country and they leave behind their culture, their food, their language, their money, their property, their families sometimes. They leave everything they know to come here and start over. So if I meet someone who's not from America and they're productive in their community, I want to feature them because I think it's something that ought to be celebrated. And these are stories that you rarely get to hear. So that's why I named it
very
Invisible
important.
Neighbors.
Very important because even though we have a very big imprint on this country, on this culture, that this new home of ours, we are often quiet about it.
Exactly.
And it's very important that you're showcasing that. And we want to thank you, and we encourage you to visit invisibleneighbors.com and see some of Vienna's work, contribute to it, be part of that storytelling process, because it's very important to tell our own stories. Very important because even though we have a very big imprint on this country, on this culture, that this new home of ours, we are often quiet about it.
Exactly.
And it's very important that you're showcasing that. And we want to thank you, and we encourage you to visit invisibleneighbors.com and see some of Vienna's work, contribute to it, be part of that storytelling process, because it's very important to tell our own stories. And this is what we do here on Diaspora. Cooking is tell some of our stories about our connections to our motherlands through the culinary journeys that we take.